All right. Hey guys, how are y'all?
Good. How's it going?
Good. How are
Welcome,
you?
welcome.
I'm doing good. Just trying to sell as many machines as we can.
Hey, that's
Awesome.
good.
Thank you for joining us today. May and I have really been looking forward to this. I know we've tried to coordinate our calendars for a while, and it just made sense to wait till the new year started. And
Right.
so we have Grant Burrage with us today from Thunder Laser USA, and he's the sales manager. And so we thought this would be a great day to get together and kind of talk to you about what's going on in your shop and what's coming new product line wise. And we appreciate you coming on. And just another thing, Thunder Laser USA is actually a sponsor for the show, and we appreciate that. So we just want to make sure that people know that. So Thunder Laser USA and Rotoboss rotary attachments. So please introduce yourself, Grant, and give us an overview of kind of what Laser USA is doing these days.
Yeah. So, like Alicia said, my name is Grant Burrage, and I'm the sales manager at Thunder Laser USA. So, who we are, we're a U.S. company that sells lasers that are made by Thunder Laser, our, I guess you would say, parent company in China. So, we offer U.S. based customer service and support, and all of our machines have like US based wiring, I guess you could say. That's not really a thing, but it kind of is if you look at the top companies in the US. But yeah, so one difference between us and a lot of our competitors is that we don't ship the machines here and then redo them. They're made correctly the first time at our factory. Our relationship with the factory is top notch. They listen to all the requests that we have. And so anything our customers tell us, if we start getting a lot of requests, we send them over to the home office and they make those changes.
Awesome. So tell us a little bit about your company structure. I know that the Laser USA is based in Texas,
Mhm.
and I know that you guys have moved into a new facility. So how much staff do you have? Are they remote, or what does that structure look like? Just so we can have some insight into the company.
Yeah, I'm sure everybody would be surprised, but on the sales side, we have me, I'm the sales manager. We have Aubrey, who's the administrative assistant, and Rhonda, who's a sales rep. And currently, I'm looking to hire another sales rep as we speak. Have an interview tomorrow. Hope it goes well. And so on the support side, we have Brian, Chris Myers, and Chris Licasio. But those three are remote. They work out of Tennessee and Florida.
Yeah,
So
I'll
two
get
in
some shout outs
Tennessee?
to your
Was it
yeah
two in
2 in
Tennessee and
Tennessee,
one? Okay.
Mhm. Yeah,
and
one is
and
in
they
Knoxville, one is in Murfreesboro, and then Chris Licasio is in Lando Lakes.
okay. Yeah, shout out to them. They hover in our group a little bit, and when people have questions, and not only related to Thunder, but tubes and other things like that, those three guys have been great. So it shows the diversity they have to support the laser community. So tell us about your facility there. I think y'all just moved to a new shop, right?
We did. So if you don't know, we're in a building called Stitch in Heaven. I'll make a long story short. So Clay Luttrell is the owner of Thunder Laser USA, but he also co-owns Stitch in Heaven, which is a quilt shop. He co-owns it with his mother. And so that's actually how he got into Thunder Laser USA. They were hand cutting all the fabric, and that takes forever, as you can imagine. So he
Yeah.
looked into a faster way to do it, and he actually bought a ULS machine, Universal Laser. And production kept growing, and they needed another machine and didn't want to spend 30, 40,000 again. So he looked into cheaper options out there and found Thunder Laser, and he started buying a bunch of them. I think he bought like 5 or so, and then eventually Thunder Laser China caught on to him and asked him to become the U.S. distributor. So we're in the same building as Stitch in Heaven to make it easier on him to check on both of us at the same time. But like
Yeah.
Alicia mentioned, we added on this new space in the back. So Thunder Laser now has its own little section, I guess you could say, with our own demo room and all that good stuff.
That's awesome. Tell us a little bit about that demo room.
Yeah, I'm still working on it. It's pretty basic. It's just white walls and machines, but I'm going to have it looking pretty cool here pretty soon. But I have a Aurora 50-watt fiber laser. I've got a Nova 35 100-watt, and then the Odin 32 55-watt. I'm really excited about that Odin 32. That thing is fast.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, there's a couple of people who have those Odins, and I'm like drooling over there when you talk about production time on how quick they are. But yeah. So let me ask you. So people can just come to the facility and get a little demo tour if they want. Is that something that they
Oh,
need to
yeah.
schedule or okay?
Yeah, they would need to schedule it. So they reach out to us and we'll send them a link to our calendar and they can just pick a day and time that works for them. And there's no structure to it per se because everybody's different. Everybody comes at a different learning speed. Maybe somebody's coming from Glowforge and have used a laser before.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the next person has never even seen one. So
Yeah.
it's kind of at their pace, and whatever they want to see, they bring those materials, and we got 2 hours.
Yeah, it sounds like it's a pretty transparent experience where you will let the customer kind of like drive that interaction, but also with your guidance and expertise. There's a question here. I don't know if you could see that. Do you have any of the competitor machines to compare at your demo site?
I don't. I'm not a huge fan of that, just because it can maybe seem like it's not a true comparison. Like, it's hard for me to voice exactly how that would work, but having all the different brands can seem a little misleading to me, because you never know what a company is doing to those machines or how well they maintain them. And so I like to just show off what we sell here and not talk bad about anybody else or try to pursue one way or the other. And actually, on phone calls with people, we will direct them a different direction with a different company if that's what's best for them.
Yeah.
So if a Thunder's is not what's best for somebody, then we will make sure we recommend them to somebody else that's a better fit. But Alicia has several different brand machines, so she could probably speak to some of the comparisons. I sent people to her all the time when she had the Aeon machine.
Yeah, it's funny, you really don't see big differences in machines until you have them sitting in your room and there's different ones. And that's what happened. My experience, I had an Aeon and then I ended up getting a Thunder just because I could get it so quick. It came to me like in 3 weeks. And after I had the 2 setting in my shop, my eyes were opened. But I do like, the approach y'all are taking, because it would be like going to a Ford dealership and seeing maybe a not so great, Dodge there or something. And it's just, you're right. It's kind of a good way to do business. So you mentioned just a minute ago about the Auroras. We have a question here that popped up that I wanted to kind of throw over to you real quick. There you go.
Yeah. So the Aurora Pro models can engrave a little bit faster than the basic models. We refer to them as the basic models. But
what's the basic model?
Those are 2D boards. Now, I want to preface this, like I don't know a whole lot about fibers myself. Like I was saying earlier, I have one here that I haven't set up for over 2 months, so shame on me. But the big difference between the two is that the basic model has a 2D board so that you can use Lightburn with that one, whereas the Pro model has a 3D board, and Lightburn has not made compatible software for that model just yet.
So which one do you have, Alicia?
I have the Aurora 820 watt, and it's got an EasyCAD 2 board in there. So I do use Lightburn with it.
Lightburn.
And that's probably look, when we kind of drug our feet on our other fiber lasers until Lightburn came out, and it's just so much more intuitive. But yeah, it's this one right here. Great question though.
Yeah, I do love the cover. I don't have that brand. I have a different brand, but it's nice to have that just for safety, especially around the shop. And some of the shops are in residences, they just want to reduce the overhead. And so when you have, pets and kids around, having that cover looks pretty, pretty nice to have for sure.
Of course, yeah. And you'll see a lot of the people that are buying the like no name or no brand Chinese fiber lasers.
Yeah.
They end up building a frame around it to protect themselves.
I've seen it. I'm not that savvy when it comes to building things like that. And so that's probably not going to be in my wheelhouse, but I envy those people that have built one.
Yeah. So now that I have the kind of page up here, let's look at y'all's product line. So and I'm going to summarize and then let you correct me and feed more into it. It would seem like you have 3 kind of core product lines. You've got the Nova series, you've got the Odin series, and now you've come out with the Aurora series. So you kind of got some options on sizes and actually gantry galvo, differences. I think most people are probably more familiar with the Nova, the galvo kind of traditional, what we think of as a laser. When I say we, it's probably my brain. If you grew up on galvos, that's probably what you think of traditional laser. But the Odins may not be as familiar to some people. And then the Mini 60, I don't even know, is the Mini 60 close to the Odin? So just give us kind of an overview of these 3, maybe 4 different product lines for our users, if you don't mind.
Sure. Yeah. So the Nova series is really our bread and butter. That's what we sell the most of. For people that are looking to engrave and cut and start a business with the machine, that's really the way to go. In my opinion, the Odin and also the Aurora are more machines that you would get after you've already owned a gantry. That's different for everybody, but generally that's the idea. But anytime you're wanting to cut thicker materials, let's say 3/8, ½ inch, 3/4, it's better to have a gantry style machine like a Nova
Yeah.
51 or Nova 63. But the Odin line is more like the Epilogues and Trotex. So it's got an RF tube in it that is air cooled. You don't need a chiller for that. And the RF tube will last longer and it gets finer detail. So those machines can engrave up to 2,000 millimeters a second.
Wow.
But that's just speed. Acceleration is like 5 Gs on that machine. So even if you went, let's say 500 millimeters a second on the Odin and then 500 millimeters a second on the Nova, the Odin will be faster. That head is really light and it can travel at fast speeds. Now the Aurora, like we were talking about earlier, that's a fiber laser. So if you're planning on engraving metals or Alicia, you use yours for leatherette patches.
Yep.
That's a perfect machine. The Mini 60 is similar to the Nova 24 as far as size, but it's a 40 watt. And that one's more like our baseline model, I guess you could say. We've got a few of them left at the warehouse. That's why we marked them down. And we're going to be more focusing on just the Nova series, Odin and Aurora this year.
Okay. Yeah. I really like the transparency that you guys have with your pricing. It's like to the door. This is what it costs. Like there's no haggling. It reminds me of.
So your price that you've listed on your website, I haven't gotten a chance. I have. I was looking at the Odin last year, just trying to see, if that would benefit me size wise. So that price is everything included, shipping, everything.
Yep,
right?
Everything you need to get up and running. The only things that don't come with, well, let's say the Nova series, for example, would be 2 gallons of distilled water for the chiller and then a computer. But with the Odin, you don't need a chiller, so no distilled water required. You just need a computer.
Okay.
Do you have this?
Very nice.
I know somebody is asking here, what's preventing them from getting a CO2 laser is the size. Some people obviously have businesses in their residence to eliminate, overhead, or they're just getting started. All of them can fit through a regular size door, or maybe you can correct me if I'm 100% wrong.
No, all of the Nova series machines and the Odin and Aurora can fit through a standard 30-inch doorway. So the Nova 35 through 63 come on a base with casters. And so you can remove the base, turn it on its back, and then get it through a doorway. I actually moved a Nova 35 onto an elevator and then it through a standard doorway. So it can definitely be done.
Wow.
I put my 63, I didn't take the base off, but I put my 63 on its back to get it between 2 large columns that went in my dining room. I was about to cut through the column and I thought, okay, hold on. You're an engineer. You got to think different, right? So go to sleep, put down the wine, rethink it in the morning. And we woke up and we're like, God, you can put this on its side. And we just threw it on a blanket and pushed it on the tile and there was no problem at all. So
the thing's built like a tank, so it can withhold a lot more than you think. I mean, it can go through. I mean, it travels from China to the U.S. in the crate, and even if the crate gets destroyed, the machine is 99% of the time just fine.
Speaking of travel and all that, I've seen a lot of people when they get their crate and they unbox it. That lid, is that glass or fiberglass, plexiglass? What is it? Like all your lids that you have there for your machines.
The Nova series is glass, and the Odin lid is acrylic.
Acrylic.
Okay.
Do we have any more questions here? I know we answered that question about fitting through normal size door. Kathy Ray says she loves her Odin 32.
Yeah, I'm always jealous of Kathy with her Odin. I know she's got one over there. So I'm gonna ask a question that is kind of stepping us back one thing. I've always wanted to ask you this specifically, but any manufacturer or company of lasers, what was it like when COVID hit and everybody started ordering? I mean, for me as a maker, we saw the Facebook groups kind of just the big uptick of, hey, I'm home now. And, I might be wanting to make a little extra money. It looks like this is the thing. What did you see from your vantage point of people ordering when COVID started?
Great question. Yeah, so I started at Thunder Laser in June of 2020. So
Mhm.
kind of like right in the middle of all that happening. So I can speak towards like what happened once I joined in. I know Clay before me said that he was selling around 80 machines a year, and then he hired Brian to handle support. And then he hired me to handle sales so that we could be more specialized. But
Mhm.
I started in June. We were selling like 30 or 40 machines a month for a little while, and then it just like picked up like crazy. I think we ended up selling 500 or so that first year from June
Jeez.
to December, and then it just took off from there.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it's
That
been a
is crazy.
steady
So,
increase since then.
yeah, tell us a little bit how it works. Let's say um, I want to buy a machine. I call you guys and you do that connection with China, or can I go around and go to China, or how does the partnership work with the main company in China, Thunder Laser?
Yeah, great question. So we handle everything as far as the order process, sales, support here in the US. So you speak with us directly, and then we handle all of the order process ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And you were mentioning earlier about lead times. Right now, we're looking at about 3 to 5 weeks. And you'll notice if you're in our Facebook groups that everybody gets theirs a little bit earlier than we
Yeah.
Yeah,
project. We like to be a little more cautious just in case, but 3 to 5 weeks is what we're looking at currently.
That is insane. That is mind blowing. I have another question, and this one kind of popped up last week when Alicia announced that you're going to be here, and so there's a lot of people excited, to have that face with the brand. And so the question is, why? I mean, what's the benefit? Let's say if I'm in the market and I want to buy one of your machines. What separates you guys? What makes it special? Obviously, you're paying more for if you're buying for a U.S. broker versus to buying direct from the manufacturer. So I wanted kind of like to see your vantage point of view and what are the benefits when it comes to buying through Thunder Laser USA.
Yep. So number one is our support and our customer service. If you look at our reviews online, I think we've got like almost 1,000 now, and we're 5 stars. Our support is highly regarded in this industry, and I think we're kind of like the goal that everybody is reaching towards.
Mm-hmm.
So you know that if you have a problem with your machine, you're going to have somebody who's going to help you in a very quick manner. I mean, if you email support right now, you'll hear back within 5 or 10 minutes from Brian and Chris and them that we were talking about earlier. And then after support and service, it would be our quality control. So we have very high standards when it comes to building these machines, and we won't put in any low quality components or parts. For
Mhm.
instance, like our laser tubes, they all have to produce at least 10% over what we quote them at, or we send them back to the manufacturer. So like 100 watt has to at least produce 110 watts.
Yeah.
Now with these cheaper machines that you get directly from China, it might say 100 watt, but it's probably like an 80 watt.
Mm,
Looks
that's
like Dave got to see a Nova 35 this past weekend, and he liked it.
Awesome, Dave.
And then another question that popped up over the weekend too is with regards you've touched on customer service, and now that you guys are growing and selling more and more each month, there's a lot more users out there. How can you guys handle just the amount of traffic of requests going through customer service? Obviously, you're dealing with, I don't know how much percentage are new users versus to kind of like they are knowledgeable, but they still need some sort of like customer support when it comes to, let's say, something happened and they need help tweaking something.
It's really amazing how we're able to support the amount of people that we do with how many employees that we have in the company, but it all goes back to our knowledge base and our ticket system. So you'll see that people in the Facebook groups will like be asking questions about like, okay, what does this do? Like, how do I fix this? And then Brian or Chris will respond and say, please email support. Well, if they email support, all of us can see the ticket and respond as quickly as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And also the knowledge base, which I think is a huge selling point for Thunder. We have articles and videos on literally everything on the machine, how to fix it, what it does, so on and so forth. So that makes it easy for our customers to just go in there and look up the problem that they're having and find a quick solution.
So you're saying you have a huge library of information and video step-by-step process to kind of like alleviate some of those newbie, customer support backlog that might happen. There's a question from Kathy Ray. I think she was asking if you guys are going to add some sort of support where people are, from your team may travel and help out on site.
Yeah, we're not against that. It's not currently in the works just because we haven't had a need for it really. The way that our support system works with the ticket system, like I was saying, and the knowledge base, we just haven't had a need to pursue traveling in person and fixing people's machines. I know some of the competitors do that, so maybe they're having different issues with the machines, but for us, it's worked out great this way. But if things change, we're open to other possibilities as well.
Yeah,
I think that I'm going to expand on that a little bit. This is one area that was a strength for me when I went with the Thunder machine, is that I like a self-service model. Like, I don't want to jump in a Facebook group and go, hey guys, how do you do so-and-so? I'm able to go here and find almost anything I need. And if I don't, then I can hit up support. But you guys spent a lot of time, it looks like, early on in getting the knowledge base to where it needed to be. And you're continually updating it. And I think this is a huge benefit and a plus, because in the early days with some of the other lasers that I had, people would hit up me in the middle of the night for, hey, I heard that you had a crashed head on this machine. How did you fix it? And a lot of the makers were going into support mode. And so this has been one big plus star for you guys that I would say over some other competitors.
Yeah, and usually the people who have their first issue and get overwhelmed and are freaking out about it, those end up being the ones that are really helpful in the Facebook groups later on, because they're learning through their mistakes, right?
Yeah. Yep. So it sounds like right now, no model to go into people's houses and do hands-on, but because you're not seeing that need there. So that was a great question, and thanks, Kathy. Thanks for sending that in. So let me go to a couple of other questions that I had. Okay, so what trends are you seeing recently with where we're going in the future, and kind of what are what you can reveal? What are you guys thinking of? What's coming in the laser space?
The trends that I've seen more recently is a lot of people going to like 100 watt and 130 watt. I would say last year we saw a decent amount of it, but here in the first 2 months, well, I guess a month and a half almost, I've seen a ton of 100 watt and 130 watts. Maybe that's because a lot of people are getting their second laser and wanting something a little more powerful to cut thicker materials. But as far as trends with styles of machines, I really look to you guys, because y'all are getting a new machine every week, it feels like. So you got the UV and all the different galvos. So yeah, I see a lot of people getting the UVs and different style galvos. The galvo is the reason why we went to the fiber, because of how fast it is and the detail on it. So maybe eventually we'll get a CO2 galvo. We don't have anything in the works right now, but I could see that maybe being a possibility later on.
Yeah, Grant, question here about speaking of the galvo world, and I know you Alicia pulled up the Aurora, the basic, and then the pro. There's a message here saying, what's the plan? Are you guys going to expand into the fiber space more, or the galvo world?
We definitely might. I mean, right now, there's not a plan for anything over 50 watts, but if the interest continues to grow in those machines, I could see us expanding and growing the offerings on wattage and maybe size too.
Yeah, if I just personalize it a little bit, I think I'm speaking for me. The galvo given us a lot of more options for our product lines for our businesses at a much smaller footprint. I mean, I love my big machines, and I use that 63 quite a bit. But if I wanted to be able to do glass on a small scale, like, I'm not going to do a glass door. I mean, you're going to do glasses, right? Or a decanter. The UV and the footprint that it has, I can, like, over here, I have 3 on one desk. And I think that's what's nice. And I think if Mae and I were like, wow, we can fit so many lasers in our facilities or our labs or our shops just because of that smaller footprint, And so it's given us a lot more options in our business. Would you say so, Mae?
I agree. I mean, the main thing would be, space. I'm limited with space right now. I'm not trying to add anything massive. Just with my shop needs, I don't require that. And I think it's because I just kind of like changed my mindset when it comes to product offerings. I wanted to trim the fat, and some of that is, unnecessary large machine for items that really does not speak to me or does not serve my brand. And so I have done a lot of, if it doesn't spark joy, get it out.
Yeah. Yeah. So we had a question come through. I want to make sure I hit it. Are we going to have any equipment up at the APA show? I think y'all are taking some equipment up there, but I'll let you answer it.
We're going to the IPA show. I don't remember exactly what the 3 letters are because there's always something different, but it's the one in Vegas, April 14th-ish, around there.
So you'll be traveling, you're going to be doing a trade show. And then when you do like travel shows like that, what are the machines that might, a potential client might see when you're on the road doing a showcase?
Yeah, this is actually our first trade show since I've been here, so 3 years. I know Clay and Thunder Laser China used to do them all the time, but this is the first one since COVID. But as far as the machines, going off the top of my head, I believe we'll have a Nova 51 130 watt, the Aurora 50 watt, I believe, as well as the Odin 22. We'll have one of each.
Okay.
That's good. We got a question here from Kathy. I don't know what all equipment you guys have in the new shop, but it might be nice to see some, test against your own equipment test, right? And so any thoughts on doing something like that once you get the demo space all set up?
Yeah, I mean, really the plan for me on this demo room here and having all the machines was for me to start creating YouTube content like tutorials and tests like Kathy mentioned. So yeah, I'd be totally open to doing that. I just got to get the ball rolling on this machine.
That's right. Get it uncrated.
Or Mae and I will come out there and we'll do uncratings in your demo room.
Yeah, I've gotten pretty good at uncrating things, and so I'll be happy to bring my, my tools.
I'd love to have you all. We should do it.
That's right.
Let's say we've got some users or some makers out there that, they're still trying to decide what machine, because gosh, how many times do we see those in the makerspace communities? What laser should I get? Can they just call you guys and set up a time to come out if they're in the area? And I think you told us before the show started that you've even had people from Florida, California fly out to come see the machine. So tell us I want to come and do a demo. What does that look like? And how do they engage you for that?
Yeah, so they could call in or they shoot an email, and we've got a calendar with our availability for demos, and they can just pick a day and time that works best for them. And if there's not a day and time that suits their schedule, we can always work around it. But yeah, like you said, I've had people come from New Jersey, California. I think I even had somebody come from Hawaii, believe it or not. So
that's a long way.
Wow.
It is a long way. But hey, if you're spending this much money, you got to see it, I guess.
Yeah, that's true. What would you say is your the sweet spot? What do most people like? They go with the 51 or the 35 or where is that? If you could kind of guess.
Yeah, I mean, it changes. Like every year, it feels like one machine gets more popular, and then the next year it's a different one. But right now, I'm seeing a lot of 51 130s.
Yeah,
I think last year was the 35 100.
Yeah, when people ask me, because I've got behind me, I have the 35 and then the 63. And if they say, if you had to get one only, what would it be? And I think it would be the 51, because I'm guessing I've maxed out that machine, the 63, like 3 times where I would have had to have gone over 51. But I think kind of like if you're a maker and you're wanting to do big signs or cut fairly large things, the 51 seems to be a really good sweet spot. And it's not, overly humongous, but and getting that 132. So.
Yeah. Yeah. If I was to buy a machine today, I say this on the phone all the time, it would be the 51.
So that
yeah. We also have some satellite demo places too. So I think this is Chris Lacasio. I'm guessing it is, but he's also open I've seen his face too. I think he's got the Aurora 8. He's got
Okay.
one of the Odins.
He's got an Odin,
And-
Aurora 8, and a Nova 63.
Okay. And he's setting on like right at the bay, I think. I've seen him open his shop and there's water.
Yeah.
So,
Oh
I think
my
he's
gosh!
on
Did
the
you
west
see that?
coast of Florida.
yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to sift through some comments here. Okay, there's a fun one. Is this your mom, Grant?
I don't know if this is I think that's Reagan.
Oh,
I think that's
okay.
Reagan.
I'm like,
I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah.
One more I'd be doing that.
sorry,
Yeah.
I thought that was funny.
But you pulled up
Yeah,
the
it is
4x8
funny.
sheet comment. So
I
that's
saw
the
that.
big
Yeah, this
reason
one.
for the 51, in my opinion. You can fit a 4x8 sheet through the pass-through. You know, a lot of people who are coming from the glow forges or maybe even a smaller Thunder, they could be having somebody cut it down for them, or the 4x8 sheet cutting it down for them to fit in their bed, or using a saw themselves.
Yeah.
With the 51, you can just put it through the pass-through and cut it down yourself.
No way.
Mhm.
I want to see
Wow.
that in action. Okay, that would be on your YouTube channel soon.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
that on
And I
there.
think, and if unless I'm wrong, that's one of the benefits of the Nova series is that pass through, that complete pass through. A lot of the other bigger laser companies don't have that, so that's kind of a nice plus.
Right. Some of them have like to where you open up the lid and can stick material.
Yeah,
Not through it, but to the back of the machine. But ours can go all the way through front to back on all the Nova series machines.
And you've
wow.
got a bunch of large materials on yours too, right, Alicia?
yeah, I have, absolutely. I've got that 63, and it's nice, you know. I mean, we have a table saw to be able to cut down, you know, rip plywood, but sometimes it's just easier just to set that
Pop it in
single
there.
line burn, and you can get it where you need it. But
Oh, I have a
Absolutely.
question. I know, when you're going through your first laser, there might be things that might, maybe something is missing or something just wears out or breaks. How fast is the turnaround time for like parts and pieces that, are kind of like the consumable stuff for lasers, and especially on the items that you guys carry?
Yeah, I'm glad you brought this up, because this year our goal is to have every single component that is on all of our machines here in Texas. That's the goal. But right now we can get everything very quickly. We have most of the parts here in the US, but if it's
Mhm.
something that we don't have, we can source it through third-party companies like Cloud Ray or Light Object.
Uh-huh.
But like I was saying, the goal for this year is to have everything here.
I
So
like
if somebody
that.
needs something, we just go downstairs, ship it out immediately, and get it to you in a day or two.
That's going to be a huge benefit for all those Thunder laser owners out there.
absolutely,
What about
order more tubes though. I see so many people
I was just
busting their
going to
tubes.
say, I mean,
We just got
I
like
know.
20 of them in today.
Yeah, you guys came out. I think Brian was saying you now have like an approved antifreeze for tubes, and I'm not speaking on behalf of Thunder, but I'm speaking on behalf of a maker where things can get cold. Don't rely on your power. Go ahead and put that antifreeze mixture in there and just leave it in case your power goes out. I talked to 2 guys today online about, hey, is this about the right price of a tube, because mine broke and I thought I was going to be fine, but the power went out. And I just decided here in my shop in Texas, and I'm South Texas, to go ahead and put that mixture in just because it wasn't worth the stress of worrying about it.
Yeah, and the other thing is, if you live up north and say you climate control your environment to like 70 degrees, but outside it's like -10,
Mhm.
I would look
Yeah.
into getting a blast gate, because you're going to have air coming in through the exhaust port, and that could freeze your tube. So having a
Yeah.
blast gate
Yeah.
there that blocks air from coming in, that's a good idea.
That's
an
a good reminder.
excellent- Yeah.
What was your other question, May? I jumped in front of
No,
you.
you're totally fine. No, I highlighted something here coming from Thunder Laser USA, and I don't know what this means. So maybe Grant can expand on this. What is that 1 to 3 days for warranty?
That's that lead time that you're asking on the parts.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, gotcha.
That's good.
It can fluctuate a little bit. Like I know that
Yeah.
the US, actually globally, there was a problem on power supplies a few weeks ago, but we're always trying to get everything out as quickly as we possibly can. And on the machines too, we have to pay storage fees at the warehouse, so we're incentivized to get those things out like right then.
Yeah.
I
So I'm going to ask a question. I don't know if you're the right person, or maybe Brian is on the support team. Let's say I'm new to lasers and I don't even start on a Glowforge. I know nothing. And I think you get like an hour's worth of training. What does that look like? Does that give me enough content that I can probably engrave or cut something after? Or, just give us shed some light into what that training looks like.
Yeah, we have 2 pre-recorded 1-hour trainings in the knowledge base. So when we were looking in there was an article called Cheat Sheet. And when somebody receives a machine, we want them to go through the whole cheat sheet, get as far as you can on your own. But those 2 pre-recorded 1-hour trainings will give you all of the basics. So I tell people, watch those first so that when you schedule your 1-hour training, you got all the easy stuff out of the way. But by the end of the training, you should have no issues running the machine and doing standard jobs. Like, I know for me, it took me like a day or 2 to learn how to use the machine, but that was without videos or help or anything. So it's not hard to learn. Good
to know. Appreciate that. And, one thing that's nice about the knowledge base is even if you aren't a Thunder Laser owner and you got a machine and you're not sure, a lot of times I'll pass the same information on to others, especially when it comes to, freezing and how to prep your machine, because it can be very universal. So you don't have to have just a Thunder Laser to get in here and use it.
I have a question, and I know some people that are, jumping and wanting to invest, in the industrial machine. Some of it can be, maybe they have a certain budget, and also they want to seek out financing. Is that something you guys do, or?
Yeah, so on our website, we have a financing tab. And so if one of you guys could pull that up and click on that, we're partnered with Geneva Capital.
Okay.
And so that's a third-party company that we're partnered with. We were partnered with 3 or 4 different companies, but we met with Geneva in person, and we went over their terms and their rates. So I think that they are the best one out there. So yeah, you can get financing directly through them. Our relationship with them is very close, and that process is smooth and very quick.
How does that work? Like, paint the picture. Let's say I'm a new client and I want to explore financing options. What do I do? Do I go straightly to your website, or do I go to a different place?
Well, you can either call us, email us, or go straight to the website. But if you go to the website and click right there on the financing tab, and then I think it says apply here or something like that, you can just fill that out right there and you'll hear back the same day.
Okay, that's really great.
And it's even got Carrie's information. So if you have questions, you can call her or email her anytime. She'd love to help.
So you can talk to somebody in person that handles that relationship directly. That's nice.
Yeah, and they have 2 or 3 people that are dedicated to our company too.
That's real nice. So we had a question come in on what type of ratio for the RV antifreeze and distilled water. I'll pull it up while Mae asks another question. It's in the support area, but Mae, you ask the question and I'll just show the visual for that. Thanks. Great question.
Yeah, so I don't think there's a ratio. I think it's 100% the pink.
I think there is.
Oh yeah.
I think there is, actually, Grant.
I could be wrong.
I used it. I feel like I used it not too long ago.
Brian will have to comment in there, but I think it might be 100% antifreeze, but I definitely could be wrong. I haven't had to do that.
Here it is. Deployment ratio. Yeah.
I can't even read that. Good. That's something I'm going to have to read on.
Hard. Yeah. I need a magnifying lens to read it, but it looks, I like that you guys have those resources available.
Of course. Yeah. Anytime we get a bunch of questions, we try to make an article on that specifically.
Oh yeah.
At least this is what I've been pointing people over to, but obviously I'm just a user of the machine. So,
hey, I mean,
anyway, great question.
I haven't, so you probably know more than me about that.
Yeah. And, I was a little bit nervous to do it at first. I don't know why. I mean, why be chicken about that? But so they're saying 100% now from support team. So follow them, right? But anyway, Robert Coafed has a nice YouTube video out there on how to install it, how to check and make sure that you don't have any bubbles in the line. And so there's some nice resources out there if you're thinking about putting antifreeze in your machine. And again, the people up north, that's their normal procedures, standard operating procedures, is to put that stuff in there. I just think with the way the freezes have been this year, it's probably worth doing instead of having a broken tube.
Right.
It looks like we have a friendly and generous Thunder Laser owner over here. She's saying she's from North Georgia, and if you want to see, if you're a maker that lives near Jenna, you can go see the Nova 63 130.
Oh yeah,
Awesome.
I mean,
That's nice.
that's awesome. It's also good to know when people are open and available to showing machines elsewhere, because we don't have machines in every location ourselves as far as Thunder Laser approved demo locations. So to have customers that are open to having people come in and check their machines out whenever is awesome. That's why the Facebook group's a great place to ask, because I may know somebody that's 5 hours away from you, but if you get in the Facebook group and ask to see a machine locally, you may have somebody that's an hour away from you. So
yeah. And then again, as we said, there's that conference that's coming up in Vegas. I know of at least 10 makers that are heading out that way and are talking about meeting up. So it's a good opportunity to kind of come out and see the new machines.
definitely.
Well, we're going to try to wrap it up here just so we can be respectful on time. And I'll hand it over to Grant for any kind of final words you want to say about, your company, where you're going, or if people want to reach out to you, how do they contact you? So Grant, go ahead, take it away.
Yeah, I mean, if you'd like to talk to us, you can call anytime, email anytime, or schedule a call online. We've got a Calendly. It's like a calendar where you can pick a day and time that works for you. So if you're more suited that direction, definitely do it. If you need to get with a husband, wife, or a coworker, you can just schedule that time. But yeah, I mean, we're a growing company that has really good customer service and support. I think we're leading the industry in that region. So if you're wanting somebody who's going to be by your side the whole way through the process, I would definitely go with us.
Awesome. Thank you for that. And again, it's no secret that I'm a brand ambassador for Thunder. You can look behind me and see I believe in the brand, and I'm just an engineer at Chevron by day, but I love their equipment and the relationship that you guys, how you carry yourselves, and very professional, and you just have a joy for providing equipment for the maker industry, and I have nothing but great things to say about the company and Thunder Laser USA. Thank you very much for your time today. I know we've had a lot of people say, we want to hear Thunder, get them on here. And we appreciate the time that you were able to give us. And we will put this video over on YouTube, and we'll also create a podcast so that those that prefer to listen to it as they're driving in can get a listen to it. And again, we'd like to thank our sponsors. They are Thunder Laser USA for the Facebook page and podcast, and also Rotoboss Rotary Attachments. So y'all have a wonderful day, and Mae and I will be bringing you more content next week with a new topic. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Grant.
Thank you.
Bye.